the substance of the matter later.
Call the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, Mr Kennedy Graham and myself have been constrained in the length of our reply to this debate because there is to be shortly two maiden speeches from two new members who are desperately needed in terms of the talent that the National Party presently suffers from at this point in time. We are all waiting with bated breath to hear what they've got to say because the reservoir has run dry. And as a consequence, we will constrain our speeches way be short of the 10 minutes that we are qualified to have, and because we want to accommodate the National Party's desperation to infuse in their organisation some talent for the first time for a long time. Now, Mr Speaker, that said, if you go straight to the recommendation on page 6 of this report, it is the nub of it that I want to address. And the nub of it is that there are recommendations made to the Intelligence and Security Committee and the role of the Minister in charge of that committee. Just two paragraphs, and what's apposite is that there are parties concerned as to what's happening with the GCSB, or more particular, the Minister in charge of it. If members refer to our speech at the time of the introduction of the Government Communications Security Bureau and related legislation amendment bill, they will see in those opening paragraphs what our concerns are. But our concerns have magnified since we gave that speech. Our concerns have magnified to the extent that a Prime Minister rises in this House and says he happily received a sanitised report, not the one seen by those down at the GCSB at the time they looked at the preliminary report draft. No, one that the former head of the GCSB is reported in the Herald this morning saying, on page 10, that it is a report that has been sanitised, and there are whole lots of parts, to use his words, that are missing. Now, more importantly, what happened was that the original report had some information which was moved to the appendices of the final report, and then when the final report went out, sanitised as it was, the appendices were never released. In short, people that appeared before the review, the Kitteridge Review, know far more than every Member of Parliament. And, according to the Prime Minister, far more than him, even though he is the Minister in charge. Now, that's an abysmal situation. It's an appalling lack of prime ministerial and ministerial responsibility that we're addressing. And I hope one of the new members coming in here today, about to give their maiden speeches, realise just how far the party that they have joined and campaigned for and now are coming to Parliament on, how far that party has sank. And it's been sunk by people like Mr Banks. Mr Banks, I might tell you, had 42 cheques sent to him, and understandably you could forget a few, but he forgot all 42. What happened to the 157,000? What happened to the 157,000? Now the answer comes up here. So no more deceit and misrepresentation continues from that Parliament. What happened to the 157,000 was that we wrote to the Auditor General, listen, and said to him, every cent was approved by Parliamentary Services. And then second, we said, because the law has been changed, any payback of that to Inland Revenue attracts gift duty. And as a consequence, we, to not enhance ourselves by 1 cent, gave it to 10 different charities. That's what happened to our obligation. Now, on the Owen Glen matter, as I said before, Nick Smith had a legal fund, John Banks had a legal fund, and neither of those people were ever roamed before Parliament on the basis they'd broken any rule. However, they sat there, these people, in a kangaroo court. What they did was they drafted a report that said the law doesn't apply, we're writing a new one, and here we go, retrospectively we're going to apply it to Winston Peters because we want him out of Parliament. Well, we're back. We're back, and every day, I must tell these new members, the numbers are joining in legion numbers all around New Zealand. The halls are being packed. The halls are being packed. And out there, the people are saying, we've hung on because we know help's on its way. Now, Mr. Speaker, I've only got 2 more minutes, but I want to say to these 2 new members, before you have travelled too far along the pathway of being mere cannon fodder, ask yourself, is this the party of Holyoake? Is this the party of Hamilton? Is this the party of fine men like Duncan McIntyre? Was it the party of Winston Peters once? Yes. When it was a great party. When it was a great party. When the party had 200,000 members. Today it's just got 200 big donors. No membership. No membership. Now, Mr. Banks, we are never going to eat our heart out to support a party that has sold out every principle it once stood for. But nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, I want to wish the 2 members who are coming here a successful career here, difficult as it's going to be, short as it's going to be, and I hope that your maiden speeches tonight evince the principles and dreams of the party that was around when you were born, not the one that's here now. Thank you.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. In accordance with the determination of the Business Committee, I call on Paul Foster Bell to make his maiden statement.